What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I had a little, trying to do a whole new layout for the guests. It's not working. So we're going to do it how we used to do it. It's going to be just as it always is. It's going to be great. Got Bill in the wings. We're going to be getting going here in just a couple minutes. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Throw a one in chat if you're feeling grateful today. If you're bullish, throw bull. If you're bearish, throw bear. And what I mean by that is between now and Sunday. Are you bullish between now and Sunday or bearish? Let me know in the chat. Comment down below if you're watching later. If you're watching over on the BitLab, if you're watching over on Hit Network or any of the other sites that clip or stream our stuff, make sure you head over to youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. Come and join us here. We still have about 60% of the people that are not subscribed to the channel. So we're going to be getting going here in just a moment, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kellam. Welcome to the show. That's all my info right there. I just blocked another 7 or 8 people that were fake Gareth Soloways, fake Crypto Nobles, fake BitBoys, fake. There was a fake me that tried to retweet my stuff. So just make sure when you're out there on the Twitterverse that you're checking the names and it's actually the name of the person that you're looking for. That's why on every stream I bring up, whether it's a guest or myself, we try to bring up the Twitters to make sure that you know exactly who the right account is, what the spelling is and all that. But how's everybody feeling? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? What do I mean by that? Everybody talks about that, but they don't talk about the time horizon. Are you bullish or bearish between now and the end of the weekend? That's my question. Throw it down in chat. Let me know. If you're feeling good, if you're feeling grateful, throw a 1 in chat. If you need a prayer, if you need somebody to give you a little spiritual hug, throw a 2 in chat. We all need that sometime, and that's what this is about. This is community. This isn't just data, numbers, ones and zeros. Price go up, price go down. This is a community. Yes, we break down everything going on in the cryptocurrency market, the blockchain ecosystem, but we also want to make sure that you have the tools to navigate not only your mind and your heart, but also what's going on in the charts, because what do you think is the number one fuel and support system of your ability to do anything in this world? It's what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and how you're interacting then with whatever the thing is, whether it's trading or family or riding a bike. So I just hope everybody takes a moment each day to check in with themselves, ask how they're doing, maybe do some push-ups, maybe do some sit-ups, maybe sit and just have the sun shine on your forehead. Doesn't matter what it is. We got to have life balance. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and just kind of jump into everything we wanted to talk about here. Now, everybody, if you haven't yet, if you're watching somewhere else, or if you're watching here on a daily basis, which about 60% of you do, and you're not subscribed, what do you do? And get involved. Hit that subscribe button. And also, I'd like to say, just shout out here, if you come over here to the youtube.com/@BitLab Academy, if you come right over here on this tab to the community tab, I'd really appreciate it if any of you are members of BitLab Academy. It could also be of the stream. If you have any comments that you'd like to leave here about, any way that this has impacted you, let us know. We're trying to build a little bit of a review and feedback board to let other people know what other people are gaining from this. So you can always also, by the way, reach out to me anytime at help@bitlabacademy.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns or issues that you're having, I just want to make sure you all know that. And again, if any of you all could come here and leave some comments here in the, on this post here, really appreciate it. Now, make sure you're heading over to my Twitter page here, which is @KellyKellam. Look for the blue check and the hit logo right here. That's the two things you need to see. Make sure you're following our illustrious guest we have every Friday here, Mr. Notorious Bill, Crypto Noble. You can find @crypto_noble. Excited to have him back on. And then, of course, if you haven't yet, of course, we draw every Friday. Get over to the BitLab Academy Twitter page, which is here @Academy BitLab. Give a follow, give a retweet, get a like. This is how you get entered to win. Maybe if we get over 250 likes today, maybe we'll do a double winner. So drive those likes up, subscribe to the channel. And I'm not going to drag this out any further. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, so I'm going to throw it right to our main man, Mr. Bill Noble. How the heck are you doing, my friend?
Kelly, hi. It's good to be here. Doing good.
It's good to hear. Will you just say something real quick?
Okay. Testing. Good. Hello.
Yeah, I didn't see if the audio is on there. I'm doing good. I guess we can start with the first things first, man. We've had this news percolating for the last couple weeks with Larry Fink. And then, of course, I discussed yesterday a pretty good bit of time regarding the time horizons that are, these little mini market cycles that I think are likely to come from that news, which is, we have deadlines. Once those ETFs are accepted and hit the Federal Registrar, there's certain deadlines and time windows that whether or not the SEC is just going to approve everything, all these different ETFs at once en masse, or if they're going to wait that 45 days, delay it another 45 days or whatever it is, delay it again, because they can do this up to 240 days. What do you think the likelihood is, especially with all does Gary Gensler even feel the pressure? Does he ignore it because of his position? Do you think it's likely? What do you think the percentage possibility is that we get at least one spot ETF approved on that first deadline in 45 days?
Okay, well, I would say on the 45-day deadline, the probability is 0. Only because, Gensler has got egg all over his face terribly, right? He's pretty much crying in the media. The optics on it are not bad, saying that, crypto is a scam. He's kind of lashing out, right? And not to mention the fact that if they approve a spot Bitcoin ETF, they're effectively announcing a currency crisis. They're announcing a dollar crisis. RFK Jr., I mean, he actually did it for him by saying, he wants to do something where treasuries in the dollar have some Bitcoin and precious metals backing is small. So I think if you have an XRP loss, if you have RFK saying what he's saying, and then they capitulate right away on the Bitcoin ETF, I don't know, man. That's a level of defeat that I don't know if they can admit. I think the only way that's not true is if, maybe some of these guys have got politicians in their pocket, but You know, these guys have been dug in for so long. You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting because the 45, this is why it actually works out for any of you that are watching this channel and are looking at data, not just, if you're not trading on hope, if you're trading on data, being aware of these deadlines and being aware of the fact that, just like Bill just said, it's unlikely that they're just going to carte blanche all of a sudden just approve everything, right? Because the subtext of that goes broader. It goes beyond whether or not we should have a spot ETF or not. So understanding that these deadlines are coming, there's likely going to be, buy the hope, sell the lack of delivery is kind of going to be the narrative, I think, cycle and repeat between now and probably sometime in spring. And so if we're aware of that, we can also know that if we see price pumping into, August 15th, August 20th, and it's getting up on that 45-day mark, it may be really good idea to keep a keen eye on some divergences, on some taking some profits, or it's always an opportunity. Have a longer term time horizon and don't stress yourself out with it all, and don't capitulate when you see a pullback following the spot ETFs not getting approved on those deadlines. But it's great that do you feel like is there some sort of serendipity here? Is there something coordinated going on in that all these line up to, even with the deadline of 240 days, the terminal deadline on all this, do you feel like there's some coordination, or just is BlackRock, this is why they're the biggest asset manager in the world, that this lines up that even if this delays all the way to 240 days, it brings us right about, it's pretty in line with where the halving is going to be.
Okay. I think the SEC will probably approve this at the end of the year, right? Knowing that big asset managers will have had time to put pressure on them, and they'll probably be told by the administration that they don't want this to become a political issue, right? In other words, RFK is obviously going to make it a political issue. That thing that he came out with is kind of crazy. I don't know if that's good for Bitcoin or a Bitcoin betrayal, because, if U.S. instruments are backed by Bitcoin, that means U.S. government's got to, they got to have a Bitcoin position that's so big they can muscle the market around themselves. So I don't know if we want that, but I know the administration doesn't want Bitcoin as a political issue. So my guess is they would do it in December, because by then I think they're not going to be able to deny problems with the dollar.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear that. And it's kind of, I don't want to say it's playing out just like you said. The chart told us what it was going to do with the dollar index. It was setting up for some form of breakdown, even if it was a fake out for quite some time. And it's done just that. Do you feel like, can we pull up the DXY chart? Do you feel like it's on pace for a continued breakdown? Is there any hesitation? What are you seeing with the dollar right now?
Okay, let's bring that up. Okay, so I think the most important thing about the dollar that strikes me is, that there's a bid, there's a correction, but I don't know that this is nothing more than like a normal retracement, right? Things either retrace 38%, which is 101. This is kind of like my rule in crypto, right? 38% is 101 in the dollar index, and 62% is 102. So here's how I think you have to look at the dollar index. The Fed's going to come out, right? Everyone's afraid of the Fed in a couple days. So everyone who was short the dollar covers. The dollar rises, afraid of a hawkish Fed. Powell will come out, probably hike rates, maybe talk tough, or maybe be neutral, and then that'll be it. That'll be it. And the thing you have to watch about the dollar is, after Powell gets done talking, right, does the dollar go up off the rate hike? If not, okay, then the dollar's just going to turn around and collapse. Because what they're doing right now is, with all this green, right, they're pushing out the shorts, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, I'm afraid. And one of the things that feeds bear markets, ironically, is fear of being short. People are like, oh, it's down. I can't be short down here. Well,
Yeah. In
actually,
addition to that, this price right here coming up is testing the previous sort of low zone if it comes into that area. So the chart saying it and the context of the situation is really, really supporting the fact that, you know, I don't want to get too hopeful because there's still some, you know, looming concerns about a recession, but the dollar is looking weak. So it feels like it's just par for the course for the last 3 years where we have bullish hope and actual just price action on the traditional markets is just like, everybody's like, what is going on? But every signal says a recession's coming and the dollar's looking weak. It's nothing's really adding up.
right. Well, I think the dollar is weak, recession or no, right? There's just lower demand for US treasuries. People aren't buying them, and that drives demand for dollars. So less demand for dollars means, you know, dollar can just float lower. I think the other thing about the dollar that comes from old school legacy textbooks is commodities up, dollar down. If you look at some of the commodities indices, you know, like this is the Goldman Sachs commodity index that's heavily weighted towards energy. Okay. You know, I don't know about you, but this is sitting at the bottom end of the range with what Frankie Candles I kind of like. It's the first time I heard it was when I listened to him. Some bull div, right? You have new lows in price, higher lows in RSI, right? This is the type of thing where you could have oil go up because the things in the Middle East with Russia, you know, wheat and metals could also move, right? If you look at the CRB index, which is heavily weighted towards grains and metals, I mean, is this a bull flag? So the way it works is, you know, if commodities which are priced in dollars, it's kind of a chapter in an economics textbook, but when commodities rise, the dollar usually falls. Like people either prefer paper or hard assets. Do it that way. If people prefer hard assets, dollar goes down, right? This stuff, you know, with what's going on with wheat and what may go on with oil, looks like commodities can go a lot higher. Now that's going to present kind of a pickle for the bond market as well, because a lot of times, you know, commodities up is kind of inflationary and it's tough for the Fed to stop that, you know, especially if there's geopolitical risk. So, I mean, commodities up, dollar down, right? Remember, crypto is a digital commodity. So let's go back to what you said in the beginning. You know, are you short-term bearish, long-term bullish? You know, I would say so, right? I would say, you know, the idea 2 weeks ago that Bitcoin is never going to dip in our lifetime and I better pay 31 because the bus is going to leave without me. You know, I just would think that if the bus was going to leave in Bitcoin, it would have left already. So it's not that Bitcoin's not going up. I just don't know that Bitcoin's going up right now, right? Because if you look at, say, you know, like a 3-day chart in Bitcoin, right? You see that prices made a new high. Cleaning up the chart here. You know, prices made a new high, right? But RSI made lower highs on the way up. Okay. So this kind of divergence on a long-term chart normally doesn't resolve itself in a day or even a week. So maybe it's resolved by sideways action. Okay. Higher oil is generally not good for Bitcoin. Now, you know, I actually do have something positive to say about altcoins later on, but, you know, I don't know that we're going into a massive recession. I think everyone talks about a recession. I think you're going to need a massive event in October, which you may get, but, you know, international travel as of now, there have never been more airplanes in the air than there are right now. So everybody keeps talking about a recession, but I don't see it happening unless you have a gigantic event. So how do you put all this together, right? Dollar is weaker for a couple reasons. That's going to help Bitcoin. Interest rates long-term interest rates may go up because bonds go down. That can put the brakes on Bitcoin and give you a solid chance to grab altcoins and Bitcoin. And we can talk more about altcoins, when you queue me up for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. It's a good point. I think that we don't want to recognize with everybody, even if you're bearish on short-term time action, I think everybody that's involved in the crypto market, not every single person, but I would say more than 9 to 1, it's probably a higher ratio than that, has some sort of, I don't even want to say bullish bias, but the desire for bullishness, because it brings a whole different energy to the space. It onboards a hell of a lot of new people because we get a lot of free. Basically, it's the best PR Bitcoin ever has is when we start, really starting breaking levels. When we break 32, it's going to be a major catalyst. When we break 38, it's going to be another one. When we get up, the funny thing is we're going to get a lot of new people really coming in if we break 45, and that'll probably be rounding up to an area that's likely going to be some sort of local top pre-halving if that were to happen. And then, pull back. Once we break previous all-time high, that's when everybody that was, shit talking you about being involved in Bitcoin and how it's a scam, that's when all those people start getting in and they're going to tell you, oh yeah, man, I'm getting in on Bitcoin. I'm getting in on Doge. I'm getting in on SHIB. I'm getting in on Pepe. They buy in. That's that retail hype buying. And it is really great for bringing new liquidity in the space. However, when we look at the data, you just sort of illuminated it a little bit. You sort of hinted at it. We've had the best the last 3 weeks in the history of Bitcoin in terms of where we're at, the asymmetric risk that we're in, how strong it is with long-term holders, not very many short-term holders. We have institutions basically getting the go-ahead to get involved. Larry Fink talking positively. All these spot ETF applications in basically waiting now for potential approval or delay in approval. I don't think we're going to not get one this round. And that, again, that could go all the way till spring. But the fact that all this has happened and it only has taken us bullishly up to a previous level. Okay, we broke it, but we broke it by a matter of a few $100s. That's not really breaking a level in Bitcoin or any asset. You need to break it on a percentage basis by a substantial amount with volume to carry it through. And the fact that that hasn't happened does give a little bit of pause as to what likely could happen in the short term. Everybody that is, when I go on BitBoy Crypto and I do TA and I talk about some potential targets for price pulling back on a 382 below us or a 618 below us, that doesn't mean I'm bearish. This is par for the course on any bull run. You have large push-ups and then you have sometimes what feel like substantial pullbacks, and you go back and look at the chart and you go, oh, that only retraced to the golden pocket. And maybe that's what's in the card now. So what are you feeling? What are you feeling now in the sort of going into August? What are you feeling, especially now that we're coming up towards the end of July? What do you feel like is a likely outcome?
Okay, so I've got the bearish divergence in Bitcoin on the daily chart. It's a lot clearer because you made a couple new highs in price and you made these lower highs. So I would say, this could get resolved, especially after you get what's probably going to be, a sharp drop in equities, right? I really believe, in other words, if you ask crypto people, if you said XRP beats the government and XRP is not a security, and every big bank is trying to get a spot Bitcoin ETF all at once, and XRP would be below $1 and Bitcoin would not rally off the XRP news, like people would have thought you were out of your mind. XRP should be at $2. It's not. So what is everybody afraid of? Well, let's discuss that. So VIX is an index of fear in the equity market. There's a 13 bottom here. That's confirmed. So it looks like fear can go up, right? If you look at, like, say, tech stocks on a weekly basis, this is called DeMark combo. This 13 means end of trend, or look for the end of the trend. With this shooting star candlestick, NVIDIA weekly, very similar, right? You have the 13 and the 9. These are quantitative signals that count when a certain set of conditions are present, like the high is higher than the high 4 days ago. Okay, there's two different sets. There's like the first part of the trend, the second part of the trend. And the reason you see these outsized 13s and 9s is because the system is complicated. And you just, when you see the 13 or the 9, you know, you look for certain things. In this case, when you see them together in NVIDIA, you look for a top. Okay, and then, you know, you have to go over here and remember that this is Discover Financial, the credit card company. The stock was at 121 and now it's at 104. So people in crypto may be sort of running or holding back because of fear in risk assets in general, right? Like the S&P is at a key DeMark resistance point with a 9 top. So how does this resolve itself? Well, you know, if equities have priced in the end of the tightening cycle, then if the tightening cycle actually ends, they may all take profits and go to the beach. Okay, there could also be some sort of disturbance in August. I don't know exactly what it is, but crypto is artificially depressed for some reason, either because stocks are going to go down or because bonds are going to go down. You know, and there are scenarios for that. But that doesn't mean it's crypto negative. If anything, actually, I think it's crypto positive. Now, here's a revolutionary idea, right? What happens if people start allocating money? Okay, let's pull NVIDIA back up. What happens if people start allocating money from this level of froth? Because again, this went from 100 to 400 in less than a year. What happens if people start allocating money, even though it's counterintuitive, if they eventually start allocating money to altcoins, into like Web3? You know, now, I mean, the consensus, and, you know, this is kind of what I've been talking about, a lot of people talking about, you know, that total 3, you know, just altcoin market cap, it's crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, is that total 3 is going to make a new low, right? There, everything's going to get wrecked, stocks will go down, and total 3, you're going to get to buy stuff down here. I'm starting to wonder if that's true or not. Okay, and here's why. Everything that everyone owns either doesn't go up or goes down, like Bitcoin. And things that everyone hates or doesn't own, like Solana and commodities, they go up. I talk about this summer P&L destruction thing, right? Don't buy green and don't sell red. Well, now it's happening on like a thematic basis. Like, oh, everyone buys stocks. Okay, stocks go down. Oh, everyone thinks Bitcoin's going to 40K right now. Ooh, it went to 27. Right. In other words, summer thin markets, you know, a counterintuitive approach to markets plus seeing some of the right themes can help you. Because let's face it, if equities just go through a normal process of going from Web 2, which is way overbought, over to Web 3, that benefits crypto. It does. So if there's a dip in August, get some. There's a dip in September, October, get some. Right? I mean, legacy is cracking in many ways. So, you know, getting down in the mouth about altcoins, yes, altcoins will go down, but I'm actually really seriously considering something that normally you don't talk about with altcoins, which is DCA. Right? In other words, let them drop, but, you know, in total 3, what happens if the actual thing that's happening from a technical analysis perspective is that this is just like a big range, it's just a base. You know, that whole idea of the bigger the base, the higher in the space. I'm wondering if this is just thrashing around in a range, right? It's in the middle of the range, so not much to do here. But I'm wondering if this thing is basing to take the baton from Web 2. I mean, yes, somebody on my stream gave me a hard time, like, you know, hey, Bill, I made so much money in Tesla that it's about making money, not about research themes. That's true, right? But
Okay.
I mean, are people that had to pay student loans back, did they FOMO into Tesla and Nvidia hoping to make a quick buck to make their loan payment? I mean, were those the late stage buyers in equities? And if so, they're going to get.
Actually, let me ask you a question about that. Do you feel like, I mean, I know all markets are tied together, but do you feel like there's been I don't want to say suppression, but lack of capital flow into Bitcoin and crypto markets because of the narrative, AI narrative boom, and just tech? There's, was it I forget, I don't remember if it was you or somebody else called it the Fantastic Seven. There's a few key major tech stocks out there that have been really outperforming everything in the market. I mean, I'm talking, they account for like 94% or 92% or something of the gains, holding up the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Do you feel like that's, I don't want to say suppressing capital into Bitcoin and crypto, but at least reducing the amount of extra capital that could have kind of nudged things along a little further or faster?
Sure. So with the Magnificent Seven, named after an old Western movie, moving the way they are, equities have priced in, AI makes all things better, more efficient. Meta cut 4 billion or 5 billion in expenses. The stock went from 90 to 200. Equities are probably priced for perfection. In 1999 and 2000, they priced tech stocks and the S&P for every positive thing that could ever happen with the internet. And it took them like 10 to 12 years to get back to the high in NASDAQ. Now, I don't know that I'm necessarily saying that in stocks, but I do think people in stocks are going to regret not taking profits come October. So yes, the speculative up-only FOMO is in equities. But as is frequently the case, right, again, this thematic contrarian approach. Everybody buying stocks, nobody buying crypto, right? XRP wins 80 cents, right? There's no acknowledgement about the future of crypto. And even the crypto people are probably bewildered, right? If they don't approve the spot Bitcoin ETF, I think crypto people they're gonna feel betrayed, right? They're gonna feel betrayed. And it's not clear. I mean, I think that these big players want the Bitcoin spot ETF because they want to get Bitcoin on their balance sheet. But if there's betrayal or people just watch other things go up or Bitcoin sits still, they're going to feel like they're going to get discouraged. And frequently, what markets?
Well, I was going to say, what's interesting about it is it kind of reminds me of the stock to flow model. Everybody said was so wrong when we were below the median line on that. But nobody ever once doubted the stock to flow model was right when we were many standard deviations above it. And the reason I bring that up, and you're not gonna be able to see this, Bill, but this is a chart from the Rational Root. And this chart essentially shows 3 different cycles. And, we feel like we're off track because we're not hitting that golden pocket, and we're suppressed at $32,000, or below that, I should say. But looking at this chart, you can see we're way above where we were in terms of the time frame of where we were within a cycle. This yellow line here is the 2015 cycle, 2014, 2015. And then we have this 2018 into 2019. And then we are almost perfectly at equilibrium between where the lows are, or where the market was below us as in terms of percentage gain, as compared to what we're looking at 2019. Everybody wants that big pump, not recognizing that we've had smaller pumps in the past, and also recognizing that the market every cycle is going to be different. There's different capital flow. There's different market caps. There's different awareness. There's different pressures, both, bullish pressures and bearish pressures. And right now, I think you would agree with this, Bill. Right now, context is everything. And the fact that the price is where it is right now with the context of what's gone on in the world in the last 3 years, Especially, I feel like it is a little suppressed that we haven't broken 32 yet with all this news. But looking at these charts that show where we're at in the cycle as compared to the halving, shows that in a way we're 100% exactly where we should be if we just divided the averages of the last the two cycles preceding this. So, yeah, I mean, do you feel we can kind of dive into some altcoins now? Because I know everybody in the chat, if you want to see some altcoin TA, throw a 1 in chat. Everybody also hit that like button, subscribe, join us here at the BitLab Academy daily streams. And if you haven't, check out bitlabacademy.com. We'll go deeper on all the stuff, breaking down candles, candle patterns, indicators, chart formations, psychology, on-chain data. It's all in there. But Bill, do you feel like the models or the theoried models of this sort of staggered sort of narrative plays, whether it's Bitcoin and then Bitcoin into Ethereum and then the capital flows into altcoins? I know you kind of touched on this a second ago. Do you feel like the altcoins, especially now that the XRP got that win, got the no longer labeled a potential security, it is not a security for retail? Is this going to change the dynamic for altcoin, how altcoin seasons? Meaning, if anybody doesn't know what altcoin seasons are, essentially it means the altcoins, we can kind of include Ethereum into this, but I'd like to include altcoin season as all the alts that are basically the total three, all the alts excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, the smaller cap coins, medium to small cap coins. Because I remember I was talking with AJ yesterday, AJ Writes Crypto here at Hit Network, and he totaled up the market caps of all the altcoins in the top 50, and all of their market caps combined did not total. I think it was like it was either the top 50 or the top 30 did not combine the market, did not add up to the market cap of Ethereum. So alts are different than Ethereum in a way, and all of them are very different from Bitcoin. But are we going to have a different sort of alignment of where alt season, is this going to be a different sort of pace into this next cycle?
Okay, two things. So bull markets can be as difficult as bear markets, right? Bear markets, obviously, things go down. People get short into a hole. They get squeezed out. Bear markets are famous for really destroying people. But as they say, both bulls and bears lose money in bear markets. Now, in bull markets, okay, it's not all moon Lambo. It goes up. It bores you to death. Chainlink is a good example. It bores you to death and then it explodes, especially with the stuff that people don't own. Then the stuff that people do own, it can slump or go down or just like I said, bore you and frustrate you out of the trade. The more they bore you, the more they frustrate you. You have to start asking yourself, if this gets frustrating, if this gets boring, should you focus on that or should you focus on how the stuff is going to move once it does move? Because it is going to move. The dollar's telling you that. So when it moves, it's probably going to move like NVIDIA, right? It's going to be just, up only, right? This is a weekly chart. This is how Bitcoin's going to move. This is how Ethereum's going to move. And guess what? If you get the right coins, that's how altcoins are going to move, right? Because if this is, and it probably is, the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Altcoins have been basing since April of last year. So if this base continues, right, it can just turn around and rocket higher. And I think the ultimate demonstration of that may be what happened in Solana, right? Maybe it's not exact, but, Solana went down and then just made this square pattern, right? It just sort of sat in this area. XRP was much the same way, right? And once they decided to leave the pattern, it really went, right? Maybe Chainlink is another good example. I haven't exactly looked at the chart yet, but, Chainlink can sit still for a prolonged period of time. I'm sure when Chainlink sat in this range, right, look what they did. They forced everyone out of Chainlink, and then boom, it pops. So ask yourself this question. What happens if people move from traditional tech stocks over to altcoins? Like, I was on a stream and somebody asked, what's Web3? Remember Web3 in 2021? It was like the hottest thing you'd ever heard of. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh my God, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm in Web3. Ooh. Right. Now, if you tell people you're in Web3, they're like, okay. Web3 may actually be a real thing. Like, for example, a Solana phone, right? The decentralized AI protocols that all trade not so good right now, but, you know, things like Zcash, right? Bitcoin Cash, right? I think that was the ultimate example of the bigger the base, the higher in the space, right? Because it sat for and did nothing and went from 100 to 300. So that's the future of money trade. This is something I came up with in 2020 and never really saw it, right? So if altcoins are the future of technology investing, and Bitcoin, Zcash, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin is the future of money, right? These trades are happening. And when they happen, they're powerful. So thinking that these things can't move, thinking that Bitcoin can't 10x between now and, you know, the end of, say, 2024, you know, it's not a pretty world with Bitcoin at 250K, but, you know, it can happen. You have to start using your imagination. There's a difference between being a moon boy and using your imagination. It is easy to imagine a new low in altcoins if there's multiple disturbances in equities, higher interest rates, geopolitical issues. But back in June, there was a surprise allocation from tech stocks to Bitcoin. Bitcoin went up 25%. Out of nowhere, I was expecting a rally in July. It happened in June. So could you have something where altcoins actually don't go down as much as people think? Or even if they do, a DCA strategy, which is normally a recipe for getting wrecked. I mean, maybe it's time to start using our imagination and say, what happens when this thing does go up? Because right now it's just frustrating people. I mean, XRP Army's got to be out of their mind. 80 cents after beating the SEC. You know, the only way that's happening is somebody is selling it. Ripple Inc. is selling it, right? Or hedge funds are selling it. I don't know. But the market should be higher. And if it's not, it may dip. But when it's done shaking people out, using your imagination about the upside matters.
Yeah, interestingly, I did a poll in chat. I said, is your portfolio primarily a Bitcoin and ETH? I meant to write heavy, but I put heave. A Bitcoin and ETH heavy, then alts, some BTC and ETH, and some alts, or I'm a degen, all alts. And it's actually pretty even split. It's 35% on the top two and only 29, about just under 30% for the degen alts. And this, and I'm not calling anybody out in one way or another, because everybody's going to have different metrics that influence them for how, why, what, and where they're putting their money. But, you know, all these things that Bill's talking about right now are, you know, impact what that's going to mean for your portfolio. And the truth is, if you are a degen, it's okay to be a degen, but know that you're putting your money at higher risk, but there's likely going to be a higher reward if, only if, not just because the coins perform well. You saw that chart. Now, I'd actually like you to illuminate this a little bit, Bill, if you would. The chart you just showed with Link. Link, you know, is one. Link and ADA are two coins that frustrate people beyond belief because they feel like they don't move, and when they move, both of them, when they move, right? And Link just exemplified that perfectly and doing exactly, you know, just talk about that flush out to the downside. And then you talked about once they hit that low, once they grab that liquidity, then it was off to the races. How does somebody that's newer in trading, that's still trying, you know, maybe they've made some trades, maybe they made some money, but all of us get trapped in these bear traps. And, you know, we question, even if we don't do it all the time, we question if we should sell because it's going to go lower. And, you know, this battle of capitulation. Why does that happen? And how can we protect ourselves from stuff like that?
All right. Well, I think one of the things you have to look out for is what I would call a give up trade. Right now in Chainlink, this is a 4-hour chart, right? It's June. It's down, 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 and then this huge heave, right, off Gensler, right? So right here is when everybody who owned Chainlink the last cycle probably puked it out. Okay, then Chainlink went into like a basing period right on top of the mark point. And then, if you kind of just condense the chart, you've got a shoulder over here, a shoulder over here, and you've got a head. You have a head and shoulders pattern, right? Chainlink broke out, it came back down, and then it went. So the answer to your question is, what does a give up trade look like? Okay, that's normally just unstoppable red. And then you have to start seeing if whatever it is turns around and starts respecting bullish formations again. Now, at a much simpler level, you know what? If you did a bad trade, then just take the loss and reevaluate, right? Just clear your head. You have a loss for your taxes and you clear your head. Now, the other way you can avoid problems is, my co-host Toby says, buy what you like, buy what you can believe in. So if you believe in Chainlink and you believe in Cardano and the XRP army believed in XRP, if you believe in it and you like it, then stick with it. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point in the cycle, you stick with it. Now, guys who are talking about Chainlink at 100, I don't know about that. Chainlink is essentially a currency used to buy software. So, Chainlink is necessary. Chainlink is, a critical function in crypto. The more software people buy, the higher Chainlink goes. But is it going to go to 100? Now, again, most people would have said no. And that's why when a bullish catalyst came out, it went up 20%. Warren Buffett says the purpose of the stock market is to transfer money from the active to the patient. So, Cardano's currently taking its lumps. That hopefully is going to turn around soon. Like this is Cardano on like a 90-minute chart, right? So Cardano, didn't perform well, didn't go up off XRP, probably is frustrating everybody, but it hit a DeMark support point down here around, I don't know, I want to say that's 30 cents. And now it's trying to go back up again. So maybe if Bitcoin sits still, some of these altcoins can move. So it's about conviction, right? Conviction and stupidity, there's a very fine line there, right? If you understand why you bought it and you believe it, all right, especially when you see people give up, then maybe that's a sign you should hold it. Also, if you see after a give up trade, people respecting bullish patterns or coins respecting bullish patterns, then, stay with it. Like at this point in the cycle, like if you've got altcoins and you've seen Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink, I mean, it's like boring stuff from like the Bitcoin Cash is from the 2017 cycle. I mean, just pull this up quick. I mean,
it's in a way, it's literally a relic of Bitcoin.
Right. But news stories hit Forbes that, the guy holding this, that he was holding, that he's got patents. I mean, look at this. This is down only, right? The bigger the base, right? It based for, a year. The bigger the base, the higher in the space. And right now it's respecting DeMark support points. That's nice. I don't know how much upside there is in these things, but who owned Bitcoin Cash? If I come on your show a month ago and say, yeah, Bitcoin Cash is going to 3x, you'd have been like, this guy over here, right? Yeah. So in these weird environments, the stuff that people don't own goes up. Right now, again, how can you avoid these traps? Well, you got to ask yourself, like, do I have a long-term horizon? And even if I am in a trade that I believe in, if they give me a 40% rally, is that the time to like rotate out of Chainlink and into something like Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's interestingly, somebody, I forget who it was, somebody in chat about 5 minutes ago said, why is it that I feel like I want to take take some profits out of Link and move it into ADA? And I responded in chat, I said, maybe it's because Chainlink has moved and Cardano hasn't. Now, what's your thoughts on that? Because I know there's a necessary reshuffling and portfolio balancing for different types of traders. If somebody's a long-term investor, you kind of do need to pick your horses and do small reallocations here and there. But in this stage of the cycle, what would you say is a good sort of action strategy when you are having, say you have 5 or 10 coins and one of them moves, and the debate of when to take profits, or maybe those profits are rotated into another asset? For instance, in this case, we're talking about Link to Cardano. We don't need to do that specifically, but how does a trader or investor determine, okay, it's time to rotate a little bit and not hold on into the next bull run, this upcoming bull run?
Okay, so we may have talked about this, instead of being the crypto market where everything goes up and down at the same time. It's called a market of cryptos, meaning some coins are going to move and some won't. Right. So first it was, the first thing we did, was allocate money out of Cardano and into XRP. I worked on that with my co-host Toby. Right. That was the first thing. Now, this person who wants to go from Chainlink to Cardano, remember, it was like sell red, buy green. That's the tactical environment. Now it's becoming thematic. Chainlink goes from 6 to 8. Nobody ever gets fired taking profits. Rotate into something that's down. Right. In other words, these are opportunities to move money around into things that you believe in. So, I mean, if you're asking me, it's not investment advice. If you're asking me if you want to like sell the pumps and then buy something that's artificially depressed, like what happened with Gensler, right? Like, I don't think the coins are going to be considered securities. Like, I'm going to think whoever issued them based on the XRP decision, like, Ripple sale to institutions violated securities law. Okay, Ripple pays a fine, and that's the end of it. That's it. And the same thing may be true with this whole list of 67 coins that Gensler attacked. I mean, they're probably not securities. Even if they are securities, they'll only be securities in the United States, and they'll flourish somewhere else.
What's interesting about that too is in the transcript of one of the hearings between Coinbase and the SEC, I don't know if you know Dan Gambardello, Crypto Capital Venture. He did a video on it, and really great video. If you all haven't watched it, definitely go back and watch that. And he basically went through some of the talking points, and the judge was kind of taking the SEC to task, saying, "Okay, hey guys, what is this case really about? Because it's not clear. What are you trying to do here? It looks basically it just looks like they're just kind of trying to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks." And she said, "Why are you, designating these as securities?" And Gary Gensler, I'm paraphrasing here, the SEC essentially said, "Well, we're not saying they're securities. We're saying that these are the most likely to be securities." So they don't even know. They're literally, there's no other way to say it, that they're just throwing something at the wall to see what sticks. I can't feel any other way other than it being some form of endeavored market suppression because of fear. I do think there are some time frames that a lot of these coins, and I had a long talk with somebody and they changed my mind on it. I think I think a lot of altcoins, likely by the nature of how the ICOs were presented, and selling a promise, not selling a product. The promise was these would be developed, and by the nature of them needing a central authority to develop them and market them, and the ICO, and likely a lot of altcoins were securities at some point early on, but I think the far majority of them have moved away from that. And so, you know, I don't even know what to make of it. It's hard to have a good fundamental sort of mindset on what you're investing in and why right now, because of the shaky landscape that it's starting to get clarified, but it's not yet there. And I think we can see that in the lack of performance and price.
When you look at the coins that Gensler threw out there, it looks like a diversified portfolio of Web3. Yeah. You know, they've got a couple layer ones. They've got a metaverse coin. You know, they may have a gaming coin in there. I mean, they're just saying, okay, you know, what sector can we get? Let's try to get something. It's almost like it was bought and paid for by Wall Street or Silicon Valley. And the answer to what the SEC has been trying to do is they've been trying to get the courts to legislate from the bench, right? Like, it's Congress's job to pass laws. It's the SEC's job to make regulations. Okay? Nobody seems to want to do their jobs, so they're going to the courts, right? The Supreme Court said, okay, here's issue A, B, and C, right? And these are all hot button social issues, but the Supreme Court basically says, we're not passing laws. That's not our job. Our job is law enforcement or interpreting laws, right? You got to go make a law. So, I mean, you have congressmen talking about reforming the SEC. You got congressmen talking about making the correct, you know, regulatory framework. You know, you got RFK saying, you know, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, I remember back when Gensler, because of his Wall Street background, was going to be considered a crypto-friendly SEC chair. That's kind of laughable. But they got to pass laws, and judges are like, we're not doing this. We're not doing it. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, is it artificial market suppression? I don't know. I think they've got orders from the top to just try to hold this down. They want everybody buying NVIDIA at the top. They want people invested in equities. They don't want to be embarrassed by crypto moving the way it can move if its true purpose is fulfilled. It's a simple
it's the crazy thing is they'll only be embarrassed if they're trying to sidestep it and dodge it. If they harness it, embrace it, and integrate it into the systems that all need it. It's not like this is something that's just obscure and off on this, you know, something on the sidelines. This was born out of the need for we have a massive global community now. Why do we, you know, all of us have been there. We go to a festival, a concert, there's trash everywhere. Not every single one, but nine or more out of 10, you know, 95 out of 100 people, you go to their house, they're not throwing a cup on the ground, and they don't do it at a friend's house either, or a neighbor's house, because when you get a large populace of people together, you get what's known as diffusion of responsibility. And because of that, there's even good people start to step into doing questionable things because they feel like they're not being watched. Excuse me there. And so I think, I think the blockchain technology solves a lot of those problems, in addition to not even considering the fact of the speed of transaction. You know, whether you want to do it for remittance, whether you want to do data, whether you want to do shared data that's verifiable and transparent. Everybody can, I mean, it's fulfilling so many issues that globalization has, you know, the mass populace growth and urbanization of communities has broken up the tribal mentality of understanding tribes, which is funny because now you come onto crypto Twitter or any investment or even talking about politics, and then people are harnessing, you know, reinvigorated with this sort of tribal mentality of just argumentativeness. It's like this weird sort of need for the tribalness, but we don't have the systems in place to support it. We have the systems that exponentially perpetuated growth, but none of the mechanisms to continue to maintain culture and trust between people. And I think blockchain really solves that. And I don't think that governments that are not embracing this yet they're not realizing this. And so once they do embrace it, it's not that it's displacing all these other things. It can make all these other things better. Will some things be displaced? Yes, and I think it's necessary. But we can pontificate all we want. We got a few minutes left here. Why don't you bring up a couple more charts you think we should be looking at? Maybe some crypto assets you feel like maybe sitting there ready for something to happen. Let's see what you're looking at.
Okay, well, we had Cardano we talked about, right? This is Cardano weekly. So this give up trade off Gensler was the 13 bottom. And even though they're selling rallies, this is green going in another direction. So you could theoretically have 6 more up weeks in Cardano. I mean, you could. Now, if you look at, just what is going on with XRP is probably making some sort of a box. You go up, you make a 9 top, and then it sort of slumps. Thinking the next dip in XRP is meaningful, right? It's a meaningful opportunity. That's why I'm not getting all down in the mouth. I mean, I understand that if equities get wrecked, altcoins are going to go lower, right? But, it's funny on crypto Twitter, we sit around and we argue about which coin is better. I mean, Apple's worth $3 trillion. If Solana comes out with a phone, or if the ETH operating system, for example, allows you to, identify yourself as somebody who's legally allowed to get into a bar without showing them your name, your birth date, or your address, you have like a privacy feature, like Near is not performing, right? It's not, you want it to. And then, from a privacy point of view, right? Zcash, right? All of these altcoins have to break resistance, right? Because if they do,
Oh, sorry about that. My mic was off. Saying it looks like a ascending level of support. Oh, you also got a rising channel as well.
And this is privacy, right? Zcash, I mean, and privacy, by the way, this made a new low. In other words, you want to talk about a give up trade. This is a coin I liked. You want to talk about embarrassing. This made a new low for the whole move, like recently in June, off Gensler. So when you look at these altcoins, now I have not looked at this. If you want to do some, okay, I don't know if it looks terrible, but I remember once upon a time, Raven coin was billed as the tokenization of everything. Recently there was a poll that, asset managers want liquidity by tokenizing assets. So somewhere out there, it used to be Polymath or Polymesh now, and Raven coin, these are relics. But what I'm saying is there's a theme that they start tokenizing assets using one of the platforms, could be Avalanche, right? I forgot about that, right? Avalanche has a security token function to it, okay? Avalanche tried to break resistance, okay? And this is a key thing I always look at in altcoins. It broke resistance briefly. It came off, but again, nobody is willing to sell this thing when it's down. They know the resistance is here from the DeMark chart, but no one's selling it. There's green candles here. Like they tried to sell it again, and there's a green candle underneath it. All right. So could this back off? Could this go to the bottom end of the range? Sure. Sure it could. But I think you got to start looking at, say, all right, the glass is half full in altcoins, even if they don't trade that good. Because, everyone's like, well, my coin is better than your coin, and crypto Twitter back and forth. I mean, do you know how irrelevant that hootenanny is going to be if Legacy comes in and says, oh yeah, we want to allocate our portfolio to this? You saw what happened in Bitcoin. You imagine if they start doing it and they start kind of picking stocks here using altcoins? Or if somebody, Avalanche has a partnership with Amazon. Silicon Valley could come in and say, yeah, we're diversifying our portfolio. We're getting into crypto. And then finally, there's the politicians. I don't understand why politicians people focus on AI being a job apocalypse, meaning replacing so many jobs, I don't know why you wouldn't want to replace those jobs with crypto jobs. Like, how long do you think that's going to take for people to figure out? Not long, I would think, especially if you're talking about a tectonic political shift in favor of crypto in 2024, because the left is out of touch. You know, they're trying to put the right in jail, and Kennedy's kind of sitting in the middle. So if the middle wins, that may be very beneficial for crypto. And asset allocators are not going to wait for the election. They're going to do it near the Bitcoin halving.
Yeah.
So I just want to think positive, even though there's a lot of stuff out there in legacy that's scary. It's just funny. I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah. I want to just pause there for a moment. Shout out Jeanette. She gave a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody that's here on a daily basis. Thank you. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ding that bell, join us here in the BitLab. And also shout out to Bill. You can you can find him here at crypto_noble. We're going to go back to him in just a second. I just want to make sure you're following the main man here. And of course, come over here to my page. Give me a follow. It's at Kelly Kellam. You can see it on the bottom of the screen there. Sorry, I switched out of my Twitter. And then also make sure you come over here. We're going to be doing a giveaway here in about 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. Hit that retweet, hit the like button. Follow us here at Academy BitLab, at Academy BitLab. This is how you get entered to win. We'll be doing that drawing here in just a few minutes. If we get over 250, we're way short of that like threshold. We'll do a double giveaway, but everybody hit that like button. Now, throwing it back to Bill. Got a couple more things I know you could share with us before we go.
Okay, well, it's crypto_noble on Twitter, crypto noble on YouTube. I think the most important thing to remember in crypto is don't get bored, don't get discouraged, use your imagination, okay? And I think you can even maybe be proud of yourself that you're even in crypto, right? In other words, there were people who were in NVIDIA and AI a year ago that now look like geniuses when nobody was talking about it. So we actually are early, and the Discovery Financial news where banks maybe start to crack, the short squeeze in real estate starts to happen, even if it's like a mild recession, the world is going to change in favor of crypto. And you do not want to be one of these people that gives up or gets shaken out before that happens. You just don't. Right? So whatever it is you have to do, maybe you have to like you said, maybe you have to do push-ups. Maybe you have to use a 20% rally in coin X to allocate it into cash or Bitcoin. Active portfolio management matters. So even if you only do it once or twice, and even if you don't do it right, at least you practice how to doing it. Practice everything, TA, trading, while the market is quiet. My co-host Toby says, now is the time to build a base in your business, your trading, your portfolio, your head, your health. Build the base. So when this thing's rocking and you're in front of a screen 12 hours a day, you can look back and say, okay, the time I spent preparing paid off.
Yeah, I mean, that's what great advice there. Yeah, I mean, don't get trapped in those emotional red candles. Utilize the data that's present and the price action at minimum. If you don't use indicators, if you don't need all that, that's extra. It's a wonderful addition once you understand the basics, the volume, the price action, and the fundamentals of the coins that you're investing in. And if you do if you do see something pumping dramatically and there's something else you want to allocate to, you don't need ever to take a loan out to do that. You could take profits from something that's moved to put maybe not all profits. Maybe you take 30% of the profits out of that, move it into the asset like Chainlink that is way, way down. Into Cardano, which hasn't moved yet. And Cardano's, Chainlink's moved. Cardano's Cardano's not moved yet. That's an opportunity for you if you should so choose it, but be aware that it doesn't mean you're going to take it out of Chainlink, put it in Cardano, and Cardano is going to move tomorrow. You still need to then look at price action on Cardano, figure out where your targets are, and invest in those. Bill, I always love having you on. I didn't know if you were coming on today. I forgot to message you last night. I just assumed you're going to be on. I'm going to get that guest screen, the whole new layout. If everybody wants to see it, the whole new layout kind of looks a little something like this. You can't. It's going to be messed up right now because but it's going to have a double screen like that as you see. But that will be able to get us both on the screen when you're looking at charts too, and have a really nice view there, seeing the whole thing. I really appreciate you, Bill. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Do you have anything else you want to share with everybody before you go?
No, I really appreciate being here on the show. I've got an experimental site, Unhinged Crypto on YouTube and Unhinged_crypto on YouTube, where we're kind of going way outside the box, but it's been accurate. I just appreciate being here, man. It's always good to talk to you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I look forward to, at some point, you and I got to shake hands and look each other in the eye. We've only done it digitally so far. So I look forward to having you back.
All right, sir. We'll see you soon.
I see you, brother. Everybody, how great is Bill? Go ahead, give him a follow right here at @crypto_noble on Twitter. And you can find him on YouTube at @cryptonoble. You can see right here under his name. You can just click on that link. And again, if you haven't yet, head over to the BitLab Academy page at Academy BitLab. Hit that retweet button, hit that like button, and get involved. Now, before we go, I want every single one of you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. Join us here. I cannot believe over 60% of the people that watch on a daily basis regularly are not subscribed. So what are you doing? If you're watching over on the Hit Network, love it there. Tune in there, regularly. We got 24-hour content there as well on the Hit Network YouTube page. But make sure you come over to the youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. That's how you can find us there. And of course, if you haven't checked out bitlabacademy.com, which is where basically our actual training portal is. We have a full community on premium Discord. Just head over here, hit this enroll now right here, and you'll see this will pop up with 3 options. You got an all access. First on top, you got the BitLab Pro, which is the indicators, the BitLab Premium Discord, as well as all access to all the courses current and the ones that are coming, because we've been we never stop filming this. It just takes a long time to get them filmed, then edited, and then integrated on the site, and the whole course format flow. And then, of course, if you this is about 30% off everything every month, so it's under $100. And then, of course, you can do the I Want All Access right here. This is $37.99 a month, and this is the Premium Discord, which, by the way, about a year ago used to be over $60 a month. We included that with the all access to the courses. You can get this, and it's 30% off first month if you use Give Me 30. And if you wanted to share with your friends and family, they can use right here, start to sign up for free. And that's basically basically blockchain 101, Bitcoin 101, crypto beginners, all that sort of stuff. Now, before we go, there's one more story I wanted to cover, and that's this right here. This is a huge move incoming for Bitcoin. Consolidation period nears completion, according to analysts. Willy Woo, if you're not following him, definitely follow him. You can follow him at Woonomic. And when you do that, he shares a lot of stuff. But he says right here, early signs that Bitcoin consolidation is nearing completion. FSI chart below. What is the FSI chart? The FSI chart is a fundamental strength indicator. He aggregates a number of different things that are showing market strength and market weakness. And we can see on this chart right here, when we get into these areas that are basically very high, that's when we get these cool off periods, or even followed up, cool off period, strong bearish divergence there with this high and this price high and this basically much lower high here. And this is a higher high, and then we get a strong sell-off. We come down to near a reversal zone. We get a strong bounce. We're getting all the way over here now. We had that sort of overheated sort of zone here. We also had a little bit of a bearish divergence as well, with this being a higher high, this being a lower high. And now we've come back down to the zone that has proven to be pretty strong bounce zones, as we can see previously. And so, are we going to go a little lower? We very, very well could, but I want you to just realize that even if we go lower, we're entering to an area, we're entering into a zone that anywhere lower from here is presenting more and more and more asymmetric risk opportunity, meaning the reward far outweighs the risk. So whether we're here or the price drops lower, we are in safe hands. Always, anything could happen. Black swans, yes, but in terms of the dynamics of everything going on in the space, keep your hopes about you, but trade smart with data. We can also see here on the SOPR, which is this spent output profit ratio. Are people basically when they're trading, are they trading in profit or in loss? And we can see right here these basically breaking above the zero line where people come into profit. We kind of tested a little bit here back in 2015, 2016. And then here into 2018, into 2019, once actually I should say into 2020, following the global economic shutdown, this is when we had that sort of sideways period, retest a couple times. We're kind of doing the same chop zone right now. So it looks like we are lining up for some great bullishness. Now, again, this is your last opportunity. If you haven't yet, come over here, hit that retweet, hit the like button, hit that, hit the follow. You get entered to win. We're going to be drawing here. I guess we'll do it imminently right now. Again, shout out to everybody in the stream. All the regular names. I see you, Karen, Gia, Crimson, Mellow Fellow, Crypto Joe, Brad Guidell, Sawtooth Hiker, Jeanette, thank you for the super chat. Digital Orgy, Katzman, Bernie, David Bumbledore, always in the house. Alexander G, thank you for all your help all the time. Indie Rock Crypto, Matt C was in here. King Peasant, B Team Crypto, Total Clinic Solutions, Zeus Cash. We got everybody in the house. The only one I didn't see today was Alex Green. Did he take the day off? We're going to have to twist his arm. Now, Learning, I see you in here as well. We got everybody in the house. Brad Guidell, how you doing? Now let's go ahead and I was just doing that to eat us some time. So everybody that wanted to do that retweet, everybody in the room, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's time to do the giveaway. What day are we giving away? We got Friday as a bigger swatch here because it's today. I want to give you guys a little more incentive. So let's go ahead, spin that wheel. Let's see what day we are going to draw from. Monday. All right. Good incentive for you guys to always be here, man. I really appreciate each and every one of you again. So let's go ahead and look here at what was Monday. Monday was, what was the date Monday? Monday was 21, 20, 19, 16th. All right. 14. So it was the 7th, 6. Was it? Maybe it was the 7th. Was it 17th? What day was Monday? Monday was the 17th. Okay. This one right here. Copy and link to tweet. Let's see who wins this week. Crimson, I'm still going to take care of you. Our guy's out of town at a funeral, but I'm still going to take care of you. Don't worry about that. Get you in here. Exclude extra entries. You must like the tweet to be entered. Now get Twitter data. Let's see who won today. Okay, I got to relog in. Got to relog in. All right. Let's see. I love each and every one of you. I really appreciate you. And while I'm doing this, before we pick this, I do want to just shout out one more time. If anybody that's a member of BitLab Academy, not basically the new one, if you remember the old one, if you gain some knowledge, great. But the new one is it's a fully revamped, all video lessons, a premium Discord. We're doing regular members, private member streams. I may be doing one this afternoon. We'll see about that. Okay, we got 34 people we're drawing from. We're going to run this really quick. And while that's running, we're going to come right over here. Make sure you head over to bitlabacademy.com. If you're not following us yet here, follow us. But come over here to community. I'd love to see a couple of you guys comment on this thread right here, this one right here, where it says the thank you. Comment right down here below in this comment section. Write some things that if you really appreciated anything. If you like the YouTube stream, I'd love some YouTube feedback, some basically testimonials. Also within the BitLab Academy Discord, the courses, the way it's impacted you in a positive way. I'd really appreciate that. We're trying to build a little list of some testimonials so we can make sure that we can help other people get involved and basically tackle these markets. So who won today? Let's look right here. I'm going to go ahead and actually share this really quick. this is where that is at. You can, I believe that's the link. And today's winner was, let's see, K Doubles 13. All right. This is going to be for a 2-month membership to BitLab Academy. That's right. You get 2 months, BitLab Academy courses and premium Discord. So if mods can send that to me in the mod Discord, so I have that listed, I will take care of that this afternoon. Big love to everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you that shows up on a daily basis. I really can't tell you how much I appreciate building this community with such wonderful people in it. All of you, everybody, if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe, join us here. Let's get that 60% down to like 30% of people that are watching daily and not subscribed. Let's get that down. Let's get everybody involved here. I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. I will be streaming from Vermont next week. So adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.